in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 815
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815
Tom, what I'm saying this week is if justice is truly blind in America, if it's truly blind in America, a jury should not be allowed to view the defendant during the case. I'm Greg, he's Tom, and he was not seen during that entire opening statement.
I'm so
Morning,
sorry.
buddy.
I thought I had more time. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, very well. It's the 25th day of January, the year 2025, the latest it has ever been.
In the history of mankind. I know I aggravate you from time to time. I'm sorry.
I started. I to your credit, I actually started a few seconds early. I usually wait till right at the strike of 8, right at the strike of 8. And this morning I was about 15 seconds early. So that's on me. I'll take the blame for that one.
All I went to do is grab a different hat. The other one was too uncomfortable.
We're getting.
And I've got a house full. I got 3 grandkids and 3 dogs. I normally have 2 dogs, but yesterday at my wife's work, there was a stray dog, the cutest little thing, a schnauzer, a Yorkie. Not a Yorkie. Some terrier of some sort. Oh my God, she is adorable. And she took right to the family. She's running up and down the hallway with my 2 dogs, and this and that. Knox loves her, and oh my goodness, it's like she's been here for 3 months. Anyway, we won't be able to keep her. We think that a trucker, my wife works at a distribution place where she deals with truckers coming in and leaving and getting their paperwork done and data processing and all that stuff. She thinks that maybe she escaped out of a truck and they lost their dog.
No.
We're going to hang on to her for, as long as we need to, I guess.
Hopefully someone claims her.
Well, I'm be okay if they didn't, as long as she's got a good home.
Some trucker is missing his companion.
And my daughter figured out her name is Honey because she called her Honey and she looks up at her. So we go, Honey, and she looks. So it's either Honey or Bunny or Sunny or Dummy, or maybe, I don't know. Could be.
Let's not try to guess what a trucker might name his terrier. Let's not go.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's not go there. Yeah. We have a great show for you and the person still snoring next to you. So wake them up a little bit and say, hey, Greg and Tom are on making some noise. We're going to talk about all things Midway Village Museum Center with their marketing director, Luke Frederickson, here in a minute. And our awesome pal, longtime co-host, Joann Stewart, is scheduled to join us from PAWS Humane Society to talk all things PAWS and their upcoming fur ball, which is less than a month away now. It's the day after Valentine's Day, and you can still get tickets. So we'll talk with Joann all about that. I'm slightly distracted by 2 things this morning right now. The first is trying to get our stream going on our in-crowd networking group page on Facebook. For some reason, it doesn't want to automatically stream there anymore, and I don't know why. The stream key is all copied and pasted, and everything is supposed to be working right. And we added a new platform starting this week. I've heard a lot about a platform called Rumble, which is a place a lot of people go for gaming. There's a whole lot of gaming going on Rumble. And then there's some other talk shows as well. So I thought, you know what, the Restream, our platform that we are on right now, that we can use to broadcast with, sent me an email a few weeks ago and said, hey, you can now stream on Rumble for free, and here's how you do it. And I looked at it and I said, do we really want to be
Worth
there?
a try.
It's free. It's worth a shot. So yeah, we set that up this week, and we'll see how that goes. One of the things about Rumble that's a little bit different than like Facebook is, people go to Rumble to search for something usually specific. So it's not like, I think the algorithm is completely different than it is on a place like YouTube or Facebook. So we might just discover some people from around the world. I don't know. And they might discover us from different countries. We're still sticking with all things 815 in case you're wondering. But anyway, for those who might be joining us on Rumble for the first time, welcome. Please make a comment and just see if the comments work. I do know we still get comments from YouTube. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you comment during the live stream, I can see that pop up while we're live, which is pretty cool. And our Facebook business page, which is In Crowd 815 Networking, or In Crowd 815 Podcast, that's a spot where you can comment as well, and we see it pop up. So anywho, that's what we're looking at. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. And I'm just going to go ahead and give up on that at the moment. And before we bring on our first guest, we have this to take care of first. Our current race to 10 has me way out in front of Tom. I score 7-2, and I could be cheating. I'm not actually, but Tom's got a 50-50 shot of getting this answer right every week. And so far he's
Well, the difference is with when Joann and I were doing it, there was a potential we could both win and get a point, or we both lose and no one gets a point. And then, but now, no matter what, if I don't win, I automatically lose. If I don't get a point, I automatically lose.
If you don't get it, I get the point. So one of us is scoring a point every week. And this week's big number of the week is 135 billion. That's a big number. Geez. And the answer is pennies or pets. Pennies or pets. Give us your guess. We'll scroll that on the bottom of the screen here for a little bit so you can be reminded of the big number of the week. Let me see. Is this one? If you Google search this, if you Google search 135 billion, I think there's a fairly decent chance you'll find the answer.
Already done it anyway. So
okay.
You can't see my answer, but already done it.
I think it's possible you could find the answer within the first 1 or 2 pages of your Google search. I think this story might have gotten enough traction in the last week or two. It might pop up on the first 1 or 2 pages of your Google search if you looked up $135 billion.
Yeah.
Maybe. But it won't be on it won't be on a headline. I doubt it'll be on a headline.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's your big number of the week this week. We'll find out if Tom's got the answer right. And our first guest this week is joining us all the way from Midway Village, from back in time. We're going back in time, Tom. What year exactly, I'm not sure, but Luke Frederickson is the marketing director for Midway Village Museum and Gardens. Luke, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Nice to be here.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for joining us and telling us all about Midway Village. But before we get into that, we want to learn a lot about you, if you don't mind. Where did you grow up, Luke?
Well, it's kind of a complicated background. Both my parents are Rockford natives, went to East, but they only stuck together for a couple years. They were pretty young when they had me. And so the deal was a school year with mom and summers with dad. And dad stayed in Rockford, so I spent every summer here as a kid growing up. But I split my my school years between first in Ann Arbor, Michigan, good place to grow up during the both Schembechler era and in the 70s and early 80s. then my mom remarried and we moved out to LA, and I finished my high school and college life out there before I ended up coming back to Rockford and my Midwest roots.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So you ended up going to high school in California?
Yeah,
All
exactly. I
right.
went to I grew up in Venice Beach. I went to Venice High School.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
bet
one of
some
the
nice
areas
friends.
affected by the fires?
It's not real close. I mean, it's probably about 10 miles away, but it's
Yeah.
Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Santa Monica, then Venice. So I'm really familiar with the area there. I used to go see the LA Open Golf Tournament at Riviera Country Club, which is right next to where the fires happened in Pacific Palisades. And then I also went to college at Occidental College out there, which is right by Altadena, where the other big fire is. So I'm very familiar with those areas.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not. I don't think I'm alone in this, Tom. Maybe you've thought this in the past too. Occidental College always seemed like a fake college.
A
That's
Yeah.
dental school? Yeah.
it's
Why
such a
do I want
weird
to be a dentist?
it's
Right.
such a weird name.
Yeah.
Occidental College. Is that one of those they made
Occidental.
up for films and TV? No, it's a real place, and you went there.
Yeah, it's basically the opposite of Oriental, meaning west as opposed to east, but it's just not very well
Oh,
used. And
Wow.
you know, I that's about the only heritage etymology of the term I could give you. But yeah, I played JV basketball there, and a fun fact is that I would have been on the same team as Barack Obama if he hadn't transferred to Columbia after his sophomore year. We'd have been on the same team there.
oh wow.
But the year I showed up is the year he left. Lucky for him. I would have taken his spot. I would have shut him down. It would have been fun.
I knew he played ball. I didn't know if he was really any good or not, but I knew he
No, they
played.
called him, what did they call him? Like,
Barry, yeah.
oh, Barry Satoro. Yeah, but I mean, no, they called him like the 3-point bomber or something.
Oh, yeah.
Obama.
Well,
Obama. After he
Obama.
became Obama,
oh,
he was
okay.
Obama
Yeah,
when he would hit the threes.
yeah. I didn't have
Interesting.
such a cool nickname.
Yeah. Yeah, but your college took care of that.
Yeah.
I was gonna go to college. I just accidentally ended up there. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So you said something about a mascot that you could tell us about. Was there your high school mascot?
Yeah, imagine what a fun mascot would be if you went to Venice High School.
Venice Beach High School. A beach bum?
Now we were the gondoliers.
Oh, Venice,
Gondoliers.
Italy,
Yeah,
gondoliers.
a
Okay.
little. We had a little Italian mascot guy with a pole.
Wow. Okay.
Go Gondos, yes.
Oh God. Go Contos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Well, does anyone fear a gondolier? That's, I guess, the question of the day.
Uh, it was a rough neighborhood, but
Well,
now I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's learn about your career path that led you to Midway Village Museum. What did you do that you ended up finding yourself working at Rockford's History Museum here?
That's a good question. It's sort of not a real direct path. In college, I was an English and communications major, and to make my way through college, I was also in the Marine Corps Reserve, and I had a part-time job as a graphic artist. So basically, communications and graphic design. I ended up in marketing, sort of by default. And I spent about 11 years working at Watt Publishing. They're a Rockford publisher of agricultural business to business magazines as an art director and marketing director. And then I worked at Fairbanks Morse up in Beloit, a manufacturer of large diesel engines for the Navy and the Coast Guard and nuclear backup energy type things. So I did some long-term corporate marketing before, the COVID era. And, I got my daughter through college and most of the house paid off and realized money wasn't quite the bottom line wasn't quite the priority anymore, and I was kind of burned out on the whole corporate gig, and I was looking for something with a little more meaning in it, and kind of stumbled across a job listing at Midway Village, and so now I've been there just about 3 years, and it's a whole different reality. working for the community and the nonprofit vibe. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot of Rockford history in a hurry, believe me, and that's fun too. So it's sort of circuitous, but I'm happy where I'm at, and kind of got there better late than never.
I can
Yeah.
speak from experience. Midway Village is an awesome place to work. I used to work there when I was in college,
Oh,
and
no kidding.
yeah, a number of years ago, and I would walk. I would just take some time and just walk the place and get to
Yeah,
know everything, and it was
yeah,
just such uh, an incredible experience.
you bet.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun there. A lot of good memories.
The amount of visitors that Midway Village gets, do you have, I know you're the marketing guy, so you may or may not know this number, but do you know the percentage of guests that come through Midway Village that are actually from Rockford?
I don't have that handy, unfortunately. It's, I mean, Rockford per se or Winnebago County, I'd say it's the majority.
Is it?
Our certainly our member base. But we do get a lot of sort of Rockford natives who come back to town who don't live here now, and they kind of want to reconnect, or they go there as a family, and they do some of our summer events in the village, our reenactments, our World War II days, or our Halloween thing, and it's kind of a good way for Rockford families and their guests from out of town to get in touch with the community and do something fun for kids, older people, kind of a full family type event. So
Yeah.
so it's nice to get some out of towners, and we work on that. Before COVID, the numbers were a little different, but we're getting back to those pre-COVID numbers of members and sort of out of town visitors to soccer tournaments, softball tournaments, things like that. And when they have a day off or an afternoon free to kind of come and learn about Rockford and have some fun.
And there's so many different things to see at Midway Village Museum. It's not just the museum building. You got the
Sure.
big village to see. You've got, of course, that great walking path. And
Yeah.
I guess for those who are completely uninitiated, tell us a kind of an overview of the stuff that is available for people to see at Midway Village Museum.
You got it. We just last year celebrated our 50th anniversary. The museum center opened. The ribbon cutting was in June of 1974. And over the next about 10, 15 years, they developed the village, where there are now 26 historical buildings where you go back in time and have a living history experience, where you really see how our ancestors lived in the late 1800s. There's a mock Main Street with a hardware store and a blacksmith shop and police station, fire station, and a general store and a print shop and a hotel and some other residential buildings, a Rockford hospital, schoolhouse, lots of stuff there. So that's a fun place to host reenactments and outdoor events in the warmer months. But inside the museum center, we have, of course, people are pretty familiar with the peaches and the sock monkey history associated with Rockford. And we have an industrial gallery, pardon me, and a lot of other exhibits. One exhibit that people aren't real familiar with is our aviation gallery. There's some unique connections to aviation history associated with Rockford that I could get into. But yeah, we're also opening in about a month a new permanent exhibit on Rockford's Camp Grant, telling the history of the base that opened for World War I with Teddy Roosevelt dedicating it, and where over 330,000 soldiers went through and trained during World War II, until after World War II was turned over to the Airport Authority, and now that's where the airport is.
The number of people that came through Rockford is, I think that floors a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
The number of
it's
soldiers
amazing. There's a
trained
lot of
here.
connections.
Yeah. And I mean, the connections for, I mean, guys that would go on and play sports, Major League Baseball and football and all those other things. And
Yeah,
you got some pretty cool stuff to track people down there, don't you?
yeah, and it's really a foundational part of Rockford history. It changed the economy. There was a lot of boost first in World War I, and then before World War II, it boosted the Rockford economy for jobs to work there, to construct the whole base and enlarge it. And it changed the demographics. A lot of the people that came to Camp Grant ended up staying in Rockford, and the African American community really grew as a result of that. And there were German POWs that were there, and some stayed after the war and settled with their families in Rockford. So it's a big part of Rockford history, and it really needs to be told at Midway Village. So we're excited about that.
If you've been in Rockford long enough, hopefully by now you've attended some event, some banquet or wedding at their facility there at the banquet hall at Midway Village, and at least seen that part of the building, which is just one small part of the big building there at Midway Village Museum. I'm on the page now that says you have volunteer opportunities at Midway Village. What kind of volunteering opportunities can people plug into?
Wow, we have a really robust group of volunteers who come in and help us with cataloging collections, working with our textiles and our living history costumes. Um, we a lot of retirees and some young people as well. We have a junior interpreter program where high school kids join in and learn how to be a living history interpreter, kind of go back in time and dress and act like it's the late 1800s. So yeah, it's a very interesting group of volunteers. You can help at the gates and doing golf cart shuttles during our big events. We have a regular Wednesday morning group. We kind of call it the Buzz. They come in and load up on coffee and get a bunch of stuff done for us. In our collections department, we accept the archives for a lot of businesses that are closing, including Gunite, which closed last week. So there's a lot of cataloging and sort of sorting and paperwork to archive all of these artifacts and get them there for people to research if they want to do some stories. We have stuff on Woodward and Barbara Coleman and now Gunite and the architectural firm of Jesse Barloga. We were kind of going through all of those plans, and so there's a lot of volunteer opportunities, whether you want to delve into the history or you want to be active in the events. It's a lot of fun, and we really couldn't do everything we do without this large group of volunteers.
Now you obviously volunteering, sorting through all this stuff. A volunteer might not know what's truly valuable and what is, really just now garbage. But you're what kind of a curator system do you have? Do you have a head curator at the museum that kind of oversees all that stuff?
Yeah, she's the real history expert. I do a Thursday segment on the news, Throwback Thursday with Midway Village, and I kind of come across as the history nerd, but I'm really sort of learning a new story every week to take the test type of thing in a hurry. She's the real history expert, Laura Furman. She's our curator of collections and education, and she's been there quite a while. She's like the mama hen of the whole group, and she has an assistant curator, Spencer Mosner, who's a grad student at NIU, and they help lead the rest of the curatorial staff and the volunteers there to help them understand what they're looking through and get it into the system and cataloged right and kind of stored where it could be easily accessible and so yeah, she's the backbone of our museum and really the brains behind all of the work there.
Is there a specific need or desire? Is there something specific that she's looking for to add to the museum that you guys don't have yet?
Well, yeah, I mean, right now what we're doing is we're kind of collecting histories of Camp Grant people in their family who have gone through Camp Grant. So there's some oral histories that we're doing, an oral history project there that I know she's building out, especially once the exhibit gets open. She's hard at work getting that open right now. But yeah, we're always eager to hear more family histories from notable Camp Grant experiences. It's pretty limitless out there, and it's a good way to keep it alive in Rockford's present, because it wasn't that long ago that we had a lot of family members there. So That's a big focus right now.
Okay, awesome. Distracted by just checking to see if our second guest is joining us yet or not. So, all right, Tom, what's on the top of your brain, Tom? I know you got Rockford
Well,
history all over you.
when I worked there, we used to rent out the Chamberlain Hotel for birthday parties and smaller gatherings. It's not a huge place. Do they still do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good place to host sort of a wedding reception or a reunion. Yeah. And sometimes we do weddings outside the hotel in the gazebo. And if there's any inclement weather, they run right into the hotel and have fun in there. So yeah, it's we've done a lot of restoration work in the last couple years. So the interior, the floors, the wallpaper, the paint have been really refurbished recently. So it's looking good.
It's an amazing place. Just to you truly feel like you've stepped back into time. You
You
truly
got
feel
it.
that way, and all of the docents, the um, what do you call it?
Interpreters.
Interpreters. Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
different word for it. A simpler word. I don't know. But anyway, all of the volunteers that work there and take you through, they really play the part. They really do. Oh, and the nice thing about it is part of the birthday party is the blacksmith shop was going, and I don't know if it was my son's birthday party or what. I think it was. He got to make a couple of some of the kids got to make a couple of candle holders and
Yeah.
whatever. And it was just a lot of fun. It's a much bigger experience than you would think. I encourage everybody, if you want to learn anything about Rockford history, um, go there. Go there, spend an afternoon, and just soak it all in. It is such a wonderful place.
You got it. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yep.
For as long as I've been here, I've done a lot of things in the Lakeview room there, and I've been at least at two or three events in the barn,
Mhm.
but I have not yet been. And I also provided sound for a wedding at the gazebo, but I haven't been in the Chamberlain or in the church, which is kind of shocking that I haven't been in either one of those places and I've been around here for 35 years now. You think I'd have been involved in that some way, shape, or form. So I
Yeah,
still
I,
haven't been there.
I did a wedding in the church,
Oh,
and then we did the reception over in one of the inside the actual building. I forgot what room it was, but it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. I
Yeah,
love
well,
that
the
church.
church is a fun, intimate little place to have a sort of a rustic historical wedding. Seats about 100 people or so, and it's actually a church that was out in the country, actually near Harrison, Illinois. So there's some real roots there, and it's a good central location to have a wedding. There's lots of parking. It's near to the hotels and the tollway, so
Mhm.
we do a good rental business, and that's one good source of income for us.
And at the time, it had a working piano organ, and I'm
Yes, it
assuming it
does.
still does. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you
because
bet.
I actually played
that's
it.
amazing. That's amazing. Well, I think the last thing before we get into uh, I want to touch on membership. The museum offers membership, which some people might not quite understand what a membership looks like at a museum. What do you tell people when they ask what does it mean to be a member of a museum?
Well, mainly it means that you really understand that we're a small nonprofit and we need support from the community. And so a small family membership, about $80, is a good way to support us and our mission, and make sure that we're there to have cost-effective field trips for school groups, and keep these living history events going at a price the whole community can afford to come and enjoy. But it also gives you the opportunity to just come, you want to stop by on a beautiful afternoon and walk around the village and check out our heritage gardens. We have an incredible heritage garden program there that's just led by a great naturalist, Katie Townsend. But if you just have a half hour to spend and you want to come check it out and take a walk, or without having to pay full admission, if you're a member, you can come anytime you want, stop on in, spend a few minutes, and of course you get in free to almost all of our bigger events too, our living history weekends, and it's just a good way to support us and make it easy to stop in and spend some time there.
There's so much to see there. You want to go back more than once anyway, right? So get the membership,
Absolutely.
and it's a couple of visits and it's pretty much paid for itself.
Exactly. We try and make it the math pretty straightforward. So if you feel like you enjoy the events, it's a lot it's simpler to just join as a member and get in free for those, and then stop on in whenever you're just driving by and have a half hour to poke around.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, I want to make sure to bring up your. I had a link there to your calendar of events there. There we go. Calendar of events, View 2025 calendar.
You got it.
And we can see that the end of this month here has where are we going? Main Museum self-guided tours, free admission day for self-guided tours of the Main Museum Center this Tuesday. Also Wednesday and Thursday after 10 a.m. Is that from like 10 to 2, or what is the
hours are 10 to 4 every
4?
day except Sunday. It's noon to 4, and we do have a downloadable PDF of our full seasonal calendar. You're kind of in our booking system that isn't built out for the whole year yet. I'm working
Okay.
on that as we speak, basically. But yeah, it's 10 to 4 on weekdays, except we're closed on Monday.
Okay. So you can see everything on the calendar page. I got the link in the chat there to the homepage for Midway Village, midwayvillage.com, and you can go and check all this stuff out right there.
On our biggest upcoming event, obviously, we're going to have an open house in February that we're about to announce next week for the opening of our Camp Grant exhibit. But then after that, we have our annual Sock Monkey Madness Festival on Saturday, March 8th, I think it is. And that's a great way for families to come buy a sock monkey kit and have the experts help you build your own sock monkey and make a family heirloom. It's so much fun to see these kids put one together, and a lot of them bring it back the next year or two. And we have we call it Sockford Hospital, so you can bring your sock monkey in and get it repaired if your dog got a hold of it, and or you didn't quite sew the tail on as well as you'd like. We have our expert seamstresses out there, and they'll tighten up your sock monkey for you.
That is so cool. I see sock monkeys all over the place now because it's been around for so long from the Nelson Knitting Company. I believe the patent ran out. So now I see them made in China. I'm like, no, these are made in Rockford. What are you doing? But that's the nature of the business, I guess.
Yeah, and there's a lady that's got a lot of time on her hands and opened a sock monkey museum in the suburbs, and you might see her ad on the Oasis in Belvedere. And she kind of snatched up a bunch of our history stories that we have from our exhibit, and opened a for-profit sock monkey museum, she calls it. And that's sort of a stick in our eye a little bit, because it's not really a museum. It's just sort of a glorified gift shop and sort of a fun thing she's put together. But it's not in Rockford where the history is, and it doesn't really have much depth into the history of the Nelson Knitting Company, as you mentioned. Some good trivia, though. Did you know the Nelson Knitting Company made the socks for both teams in one of the Super Bowls?
I did not know.
Yeah, the 1973 Super Bowl, both teams wore socks made in Rockford at Nelson.
That would have been Pittsburgh Steelers and Minnesota Vikings.
No, I think it was Miami, Washington. If
Super
I'm
Bowl
not...
4.
Okay,
Yeah.
So 1973 would have been the 72 season, 73 Super Bowl. I was thinking 73 season, 74 Super Bowl.
There you go. Right,
yeah, Pittsburgh, Miami, and Washington, 14-7. I remember that. That's the Gary Premian one.
There you go.
There we go.
And yep, and you learn something new every day, right? They were wearing socks made right here in Rockford.
Well, if you haven't stopped by the Midway Village gift shop, I mean, there's some cool stuff in there for obviously the Rockford Peaches, the sock monkeys, all this Camp Grant stuff that's there. It's quite a collection, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a place to get Rockford themed gifts you can't really get anywhere else. And it's, we try and hype it up around the holiday season so that I know a lot of people come in and get Rockford things for people that don't live in Rockford anymore. You can ship them out to your expatriate Rockford family and keep them a little connected to the Peaches or Sock Monkeys or Camp Grant or some other cool stuff that is unique to Rockford. So yeah, it's a great little gift store. We have a real talented guy running it now. We just introduced a Sock Monkey bobblehead that is pretty cool. And those have been selling pretty well too.
Had to happen. Eventually, it just had to happen.
Yep, everything will be a bobblehead eventually.
We're all going to be bobbleheads eventually. Absolutely. Well, Luke, is there anything else that we have not asked you about, either yourself or Midway Village, that we were hoping to touch on that we might have missed before we move along?
Well, I mean, I could go on forever, but I think you've covered a lot of the cool stuff. And I just, I'd encourage your listeners to stay tuned and come on out in a few weeks. We're going to have a free open house for the opening of our campground exhibit. And we're really proud of it. It's really slick. It's really interactive. There's a Jeep, a motorcycle, an obstacle course, a mock barracks from Camp Grant. And you can learn a whole lot about some fun Rockford history while you're there. So that's really top of mind for us in Midway these days.
Okay. And of course, the World War II days, always a really big deal. And there's a lot of cool stuff in the gift shop that signifies the World War II days and what Camp Grant meant to that period of time. Lot to check out there at Midway Village Museum Center. And again, for those who maybe have never been there before, the link is in the chat. It's basically on the corner of Guilford Road and Perryville. It's not hiding, but if you're someone that just drives up and down Perryville Road and never turns down Guilford, you wouldn't know it was there. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that's kind of beneficial. It's nice that the Victorian Village, when you step back in time, it's really isolated, but it's still right there in town. We're fortunate that there hasn't been much development along Perryville that kind of borders our village there. That some of that land is owned by the Park District that they could, in theory, sell to a car dealership, and we're lucky that it's hasn't been developed at this point, and it keeps us isolated there in the woods. But it's just right behind Home Depot, and it's pretty local. But yeah, you're right. If you go down Guilford, it's easy to just keep going by it. And got to admit, until I worked there, I really wasn't at Midway Village all that often, and so I feel like I'm marketing to people like me who kind of may overlook the place and not realize how much fun is going on there.
I got to admit, being a realtor, when I'm out showing houses to clients and stuff, and I got some time in between appointments, especially in the wintertime, when I'm looking for a nice place in the shade to just park and chill for a while, the parking lot at Midway Village is perfect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's not too hot, the walking path is a great place to just go and kind of decompress from the day and walk around that path and check out the helicopter that's back there and the memorial. It's really is a gem of Rockford. So if you've never been there before, definitely want to encourage everybody to go out and check out all things Midway Village Museum. And yeah, it's definitely worth the checking out. Let's see. I think if you're ready, Tom, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this screen. I'm not sure if Joanne's going to make it or not. She said she's still going to plan on joining us, but I don't know where she went off to. So let's do some trivia while we're waiting to see if Joanne's going to join us. And here is your thing, Tom. Boom. Oh, where'd Luke go? Luke, we lost Luke. There you go. The sounder didn't scare you away, did it?
No, I'm still right here.
All right. Are we ready?
All right, let's go.
All righty then. Basically, Luke, so just so you know, these questions are simple stuff. It's not designed to make you scratch your head and go, oh my God, I don't know anything. Because I'm sure you know quite a bit. So if you miss a few, you miss a few. but you probably get more than you think. And Greg can help you. Final question. You can't answer until he can't answer.
All right.
And he'll
all right.
know why. Has to do with Midway Village. So, sort of. All right. Here we go. Would you rather have a space question or an Illinois question?
Let's do a space question.
Okay. All right. Of these two planets, which planet in our solar system is larger, Neptune or Saturn?
They're not that far apart.
No,
I'm gonna go
They're not.
with
They're very close.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Neptune.
And Gregors, what do you say?
Isn't it Jupiter, then Neptune, then Saturn? I think size wise, I think it's Jupiter's the biggest. I think Neptune's second and Saturn's third.
Other way around. Actually, it's Jupiter, and then I believe it's Uranus, and then Saturn, and then Neptune is the fourth.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, all right. I'm sorry. You know what? Do that one. There's our
Stuck with
mulligan.
Illinois.
There's our mulligan. We're going to Illinois. We're starting over. Scooby Doo ending, whatever. Okay, we are. That was a bonus. Forget it. It's a mulligan. You don't get any more mulligans. All right. What is the state fish of Illinois? Is it a catfish or a bluegill?
Catfish.
Once again, what is the state fish of Illinois? A catfish or a
I hope it's a bluegill. I'm going to go with bluegill.
Let's go with the bluegill. That's a much prettier fish than a catfish.
You'd be wise to go with a bluegill.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Which American? This is history. Look, this is playing right into your wheelhouse.
Let's see if Joann can help us. Joann's joining us now for PAWS. Good
Hi,
morning, Joann.
How are you?
Hey.
So good to see you again.
Family, so I had to deal with that first.
You're understandable. You're fine.
And Joann, I don't know if you were watching earlier. We have a dog on loan for a little while. I'm going to ask you a question about it a little bit later when we end.
It barks.
It barked. It barked quite a bit last night. My poor wife had to get up and go to work. She leaves at about 5:15 in the morning. It's like midnight. She's like, "Ruff, ruff," and she's got that really loud bark, and she's no bigger than my right foot. Anyway,
Why?
all right, history question. Joann, you've only missed one, so you're good. And then you knew the bluegill, so we're good. Which American war included the battles of Fort Sumter and Shiloh? Was it the Revolutionary War or the Civil War?
Fort Sumter and Shiloh.
Yep. Which American war included
I know
the
that
major...
this is the Civil War.
I was going to say the war between the states.
Yeah. Well, that is correct. It was the Uncivil War.
There they are.
All right. Page 1, done.
Woo.
All right. Page 2. I always like that. That's my favorite part. Or I get to throw it. All right. Page 2. Question number 3. Acronyms. In regard to cooking spray, what does the P in PAM stand for?
Oh my.
This is almost a trick question. It's almost not fair. So I'm going to give you a hint. It has nothing to do with the actual cooking of it.
I didn't know PAM was an acronym.
PAM is an acronym. You bet.
Yeah, we thought it was just the word.
Plastic.
You are on the right track. You are on the right track. It's not it, but you are on the right track. So once again, in regard to cooking spray, what does the P in PAM stand for? This was a tough one.
Petrochemical.
Yeah.
No. You want to know what it is? You're not going to get it. You either know it or you don't.
Yeah, we don't know it.
Product, as in product of Arthur Meyerhoff.
Oh, that's weird.
I know. I thought it was a great question. I didn't come up with that one. I found that one.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I'll say it.
All right. This week in history. Think about this one. It says on this day, the question is a couple days old. On this day in 1990, who became the first player ever to be expelled from the Australian Open? This day in 1990.
1990? The Australian Open tennis tournament?
Yep. Who became the first?
I think that's got to be John McEnroe.
That's my first name.
That was what my thought was too.
You cannot be serious.
There he is. Yes.
John McEnroe, you know your tennis. Nicely done.
Yep. John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors. What a heyday. What a great time to be in tennis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I always liked Bjorn Borg because he was Swedish, and I thought that had kind of Rockford flavor to it, even though he was actually a Swede.
Bjorn
yeah,
Borg.
I always rooted for him against those guys.
Yeah, I saw Bjorn Borg at Rock Valley College. My dad and I went. I was probably 10 or 12, and they did it in the gymnasium, and they made the whole tennis court thing, and it was really good. It was some sort of a fundraiser, and I'm like,
Nice.
wow, Dad, this is so cool, Bjorn Borg.
He wore a tennis shoe called Diodora, which was the lightest tennis shoes I've ever. I think I don't know how I got the money to buy a pair. I don't know. I must have been working at the time because I got a pair of Diodora tennis shoes. They didn't last very long because they were so light and flimsy, but they were great tennis shoes. If I could afford it, I'd have had one for every 2 weeks. Every other couple of weeks, I'd have put on a new pair of Diodora's tennis shoes. They were great.
I like the name too, Diodora. That's kind of cool. Uh-oh, we're losing our fourth member here of the show.
I wanted to put a towel. My feet were kind of messy.
Uh-oh.
So I wanted to put a towel.
Got to clean up the snow.
Yeah, otherwise I'll be staying and being Cinderella.
All right.
All right. We're 2 out of 3 now, right? So we're doing all right.
Yeah, you are. All right, translation. Which soft drink company's name is based on the Greek word for digestion?
The Greek word for digestion.
Yeah. Once again,
I'm
which
guessing
soft
that's Pepsi.
Pepsi sounds
No, maybe that's pep related. No, soft drink.
Pepsi.
I always say go with your gut on a lot of these things. Go with your first guess.
Yeah, let's do Pepsi.
Let's do Pepsi.
Okay, pepsin is the Greek word for digestion. So Pepsi. Very good. Very good.
Oh.
Luke, you can come back and play anytime. In fact, Luke, I'm doing a trivia tournament. You should be on my team. All right, here we go. Literature. John Steinbeck published this novel in 1939 about the Great Depression exodus from Oklahoma to California.
Oklahoma to California.
Yep.
Westward Ho. I don't.
Oh, I can't believe I know this. It's just
I can't. Yeah.
Grapes of Wrath.
John Steinbeck.
I think that's right. The Grapes of Wrath.
It is correct.
Woo! Good. Way to go, Luke.
I was an English major in college. I would have been embarrassed if I didn't remember that.
Yeah. Well, you missed Pam. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, were it not for a really bad question. Yeah. Were it not for a really bad question,
I just thought I thought it was named after my sister. I thought it was her can of product, whatever. So
yeah. I got a can of Lori. I just spray it. My sister's name. Anyway, which reminds me, I got to call her today. All right. Video games. Here we go. What is the name of Crash Bandicoot's younger sister in the Crash Bandicoot video game franchise?
I got nothing. I'm not much of a video gamer unless you go back to Space Invaders.
Oh, Space Invaders. I was pretty good with that. Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, and Asteroids. Yep. That was my game. I could, and then you hit the button and you go off into another direction. That was cool. I loved that.
Yeah, and you had to leave your house to go play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
And a pocket full of quarters.
Pocket full of quarters. Yep.
Crash Bandicoot had a sister named Slash.
No.
All right.
Slash and Crash.
Yeah.
That sounds like I don't know. I don't do video games.
Okay, it is Coco Bandicoot.
Coco Bandicoot.
All right. This one here should be easy, and then the last question should be very easy. What is the athletic team nickname for Bradley University in Peoria? They are the Bradley what?
I think they're the Bulldogs. Does that sound?
I'll go with Bulldogs.
I think they're the Bulldogs.
You got the first letter right. I'm giving you a half a mulligan on this one. You got the first letter right. It's not a compound word.
Oh, the Bulls.
Oh, Brave? No.
Braves. Braves. Bradley Braves.
Bradley Braves. All right.
Yes. There you go. All right. Final question. All right. Luke, you can answer it. I know. You probably know it. You should know it, I think. All right. When Rockford was settled, it was known as Midway, hence the name Midway Village. In what year was Rockford renamed Rockford?
I'm going to go with 1852.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
There is a specific group. It's a society. It's called the blank. It's the year and then society.
1864.
Earlier.
Earlier, I think maybe 1837.
Oh, you were so close. Down 3. The 1834 society.
Oh, I got the 4 right. Okay.
Well, that's when Rockford was founded. I get it. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So previously to 1834, it was just referred to as Midway.
It was Midway because it was midway between Galena and Chicago, and it served as a midway point to where you could go to both.
And you could cross the river at the Rocky Ford to get your wagon over. Yep.
The Rocky Ford.
And then the other one here would be what does Sinisippi essentially mean in terms of Indian language? There's 2 schools of thought on this. I've always heard that it meant
with the river, clear flowing or lazy river or something like that.
Yeah, I've always heard clear flowing because back then, before all the toxic dumping in the middle, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever.
The Rock River used to be a lot narrower as well before they put any dams up there, and it was and the banks were pretty steep. So it was, it was more clear flowing and more natural for sure.
Okay.
So that Rocky Ford was extremely important to get across and move on. You keep your trip moving toward Galena or back toward Chicago. So good deal. Well, Luke, we really appreciate your time joining us here this morning and informing everybody about what Midway Village Museum is all about. We encourage everyone to click on the link in the chat, go right to the website, see all the stuff that's going on there. And if you feel so inclined, maybe become a member or sign up to volunteer. Lots of stuff to do at Midway Village. So thanks again for joining us, Luke. We'll catch up with you again, hopefully maybe before the end of the year, maybe right before World War II days.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the opportunity. Nice talking to you guys. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Been our pleasure.
There it goes.
By the way, Greg, before
Sorry, Tom, had to cut you off. We switched gears.
No, that's okay. You can't. Once you hit that button, you're done. I just want to say hi to Ashley, my niece from Oklahoma. I love you, honey. I'll call you a little bit later. So,
Joann, welcome back.
Yes.
Hi.
Welcome back.
We
miss you.
We miss you, and we're so thankful that you agreed to come on and quell all the rumors that we had some terrible falling out and that you don't like us anymore. So,
well, to be fair, that rumor was started by Greg himself. So I only believe rumors that I start.
Controversy sparks viewership. So we got to, create some controversy.
What happened to Joann?
What happened to Joann?
I can't believe, Joann, that you called Greg up. Well, never mind.
I called him, but he wouldn't take my call.
Oh, is that what it was?
We did have a nice breakfast like the week after Joann's last official show here on the podcast. And we always looked forward to talking about the PAWS Fur Ball because this is one of the signature events of Rockford. So we want to make sure we bring it up and see how things are going. Are you already collecting donations at PAWS?
Oh, yes. I was just had the date. The deadline for donations is February 1st, 2025, which is next Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. This is
I had to figure that out because this is on a personal note. My birthday is early in February. And while I was driving one day, I was trying to figure out what day my birthday was on. So,
isn't it like February 4th or 6th?
This isn't a trivia question.
No. Well,
it's usually right around the Super Bowl.
It's not also on the trivia. But the deadline for donations is February 1st, which is next Saturday. So you have the next week to get it in. And then donation tickets are still available, I thought, until, I don't know. It was a little past that. But maybe we could use February 1st as our deadline.
February 1st is a good deadline.
Yeah. And we've been collecting. The food is supposed to be fantastic this year. It's by Green Fire,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the choices are. Chicken,
Well-
filet mignon, and cheese ravioli butternut squash.
Well,
A pasta dish, I assume.
let's see. Furball. Furball tickets. Go to the ticket page. It takes you to the ticket page. Individual tickets, couples tickets, table reservations. It's a really cool way to get people together. And if you have a business or you got some employees that you want to show a good night out and thank them for their service to your company, something like that, get a whole table, bring your top employees out.
And the cool thing is, to wear purple, I guess, because it's called Perfection in Purple, because, purple is our color. And the one thing to think about is it's the day after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So you have a table reserved, you have food that's going to be really good, and you've got your girlfriend or you could bring your wife. And
Or both.
or both, because you could reserve 3 tickets and make it a Valentine's celebration. We had talked on the board that, we can't have it so near Valentine's Day. And we said, why not embrace it and make it a Valentine's Day celebration?
Absolutely.
We love animals and we love our spouses. So let's bring that together. How about that?
Choose your cheese stuffed ravioli with butternut squash, your 8-ounce filet mignon, or the Italian herb crusted chicken. Those are your 3 choices.
All sound delicious, but you can't have all 3.
Fresh berry salad.
But if you buy 3 tickets.
Yeah, buy 3 tickets, get all 3. Get your table. Couples tickets $140, a full table for $560, and it's a great evening. You've got always have also an awesome selection of silent auction items to bid on. So many things get donated to PAWS every year that end up in the silent auction. That's great.
I think we don't have an electronic this year, but we have Costco. We have, I don't know. It's just way so many things. I can't even list all of them, but they're, I mean, they had to rent, the committee had to get, am I talking correctly? They had to rent storage unit to keep all stuff together. Yeah. We have a big day today for PAWS. We have all day long, we have dogs coming in.
Saturday meet and greets.
Yeah.
Tuffle and Nala and Daniel and Erwin. That's Daniel's pre-grooming picture on this flyer right here.
There was a picture. Greg kind of went through it where he had been groomed.
Daniel doesn't look the same anymore.
And then I have a little guy named Dusty who was found as a stray, and he was a hot mess. And
that before and after picture was amazing.
Yes. And the groomer that groomed him is awesome. I mean, she took her time and she was there all day.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
He's a young dog. And who knows why he got in that way. But I mean, I have him at my home. He's my foster, and he absolutely cannot stand being left alone.
Oh,
so whatever happened to him, there's
before and after.
Oh, I like the before picture better. He looks like a big fluffy teddy bear.
And he came from a rescue group, another rescue group that was well, it doesn't take him long to get fluffy again, let me tell you.
Give him 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, he'll be fluffed out
Like
again.
he lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, I want to do that. My hairdresser doesn't ever help that way. But he is a doodle mix.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they say that in the, I forgot. I don't think I got my phone out, but he's a doodle mix.
Okay.
Joann, while I'm thinking about it, who's the entertainment this year for PAWS Banquet?
I think the same. It's a DJ.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And for some reason, and I don't know what it was, but for some reason they thought I did some dancing on the stage.
Well, that might encourage people to join you, you know?
But I said I was with Eric Wilson and they claimed I was dancing on the stage.
Well,
Oh, wow.
I have no memory of that, and so I deny.
That's because you were too drunk. we do have the video though. We have the video.
No, I've been threatened with that before, but no.
Okay.
You weren't even I don't think Tom was at Furball last year.
I did not make it.
I don't think you're supposed to uncork the wine from the wine pull before the event is over.
Yeah, I think they're not having, because of that, they're not having a wine pull. Not because of the encore, but because of my dancing on the stage.
Okay.
No wine. Okay. I don't know what happened, but that's another one of those rumors.
Well, if you can't make it to Furball 2025, which again, it's Saturday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's, a great Valentine's date idea. If you can't make it to that, you can still support the PAWS Humane Society. There's a lot of different things you can do to donate or volunteer, supporting PAWS by helping to clean cages. And what other volunteer activities do people do there on a weekly basis, Joann?
I think the biggest thing is the cleaning the cages. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking as I'm seeing Seth cleaning cages. I think that's one of the big things. I mean, fostering is, we don't foster as many cats as we used to. But fostering dogs is a big thing. If you love dogs, it's addicting in a way. People say, "Oh, I couldn't give them up," but you can, and you get kind of a choice. I don't want to say this, and you kind of choose who the dog goes to. You meet with the prospective adopters.
Yeah, because you learn about the temperament of the dog.
Some of those people have become friends of mine for life. And and just that connection we have of adopting a dog that I fostered for 3 months, 4 months, we have become connected for life. And they call me unfortunately, when the dog passes, whatever. So I know I'm connected. I can't see it any other way. There's a connection there. It's like I gave them my baby.
Well, you learn the temperaments of the dog. You learn what they're like, so you can tell the potential adoptee family what the dog's going to be like for them. So yeah, it's a special thing. We pretty much knew what we were getting into when we adopted Veda. We were told she was probably not going to like me very much, and it was true for about 2 weeks.
It's kind of funny though when I watch dogs. I've been fostering for well over 10 years, and I have seen dogs pick their owners. And we had one dog the other day, a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember. Shiloh was the dog's name. I think that's right. And he changed when one family came in. It was like he said, "Yep, those are the ones. Those are my family. That's my family." And we were just amazed at the difference. And the other families he was friendly to, but not embracing. So it's weird when they say the dog picks his owners. They do.
When we went to Kevin and Sandy's house.
Yeah.
What?
When we went to Kevin and Sandy's house and my daughter Mariah met Veda for the first time, that was it. That was it. She was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Did I derail you, Tom? You were going to say something. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say it's such a beautiful thing because we don't give dogs or cats, for that matter, enough credit. and they're smarter than we think, and they have some very good insights. I mean, there's a reason why, when you're having a bad day and your dog jumps up on your lap and breathes on you and his tail's wagging, it just kind of makes everything go away, all the bad stuff go away. A bowl of ice cream also helps, but just
Well,
cute.
there's a lot of information on the PAWS Humane Society website. I'm going to go ahead and copy and put this in the chat real quick so people can get to it really simple and easy. There's a link there to the event for the Fur Ball, February 15th. And again, it's at the Tebala Event Center. They're on Newburgh. Greenfire, this year's caterer. Going to be a wonderful evening.
I forgot who catered last year, but we went with Greenfire this year.
Yeah, they were very good last year too. And this year's trying something different. So, awesome. Well, good deal. Well, anything else we want to catch us up on before we let you go about your weekend, Joann? Really appreciate you jumping on and promoting the Fur Ball.
Nothing really.
So, hopefully we'll see a bunch of folks at the Fur Ball on February 15th and get out there. And if you can't make it,
I said, there's another week. So, you could contact, if you have something you want to donate, give us a quick call and, people will pick it up or you can deliver it to the shelter. So we've got this weekend and then for Saturday.
Okay. You still got a full week. If you're watching this live today, you still got a full week till February 1st to get something donated over there and make it happen. So I think Veda's telling me she's ready to go out for her walk this morning. So we got to wrap up. We better wrap up this show.
Did Tom have a dog question for me?
Oh, I did.
Know.
Okay, so yesterday while Kathy was at work, my wife, they found a dog outside, a little bitty thing, a little bigger than a football maybe.
Do you need my address?
No. Well, I wanted your advice on it. We've got her right now. She's the most amazing thing. She's absolutely adorable. She comes in the house and she's just looking around and she goes up and sniffs my two dogs. My house is very dog friendly and very cat friendly. My cats went up to her and all that. It really is a cool thing, but it's not our dog. And we want to make sure we find the right owner. We think it might have been a trucker that may have left it outside to go potty and it wandered off. So we're going to wait until Monday or Tuesday and see if anybody comes back or calls and says, hey, I lost my dog.
Now, the shelter is open today and they can check it for a microchip.
Okay, that was the other thing I was going to ask you. How do you check for microchip? They could do that, right?
Yes, PAWS can do that. They have and once you get the number, they can, if it does have a microchip, it had no collar on it.
No collar, but very well taken care of. Very well taken care of. And not skinny, but not.
I would recommend first thing is to check for a microchip, and then you could also list it on Lost Dogs of Illinois on Facebook.
Okay. Thank you for that. I think what we'll do is we'll bring it into PAWS on Monday because she's working today. She won't be home till 3:30. So we'll do it. We'll do it Monday. We'll keep her for the weekend, and we have no problem keeping her for ourselves if nobody claims her. It's a wonderful little dog.
Yeah.
Lost Dogs of
you
Illinois.
you need to make there's a 10-day stray hold, and you should actually contact Animal Services also.
Right. Okay.
Contact them with a lost report.
Okay.
Sometimes people will call. That's usually people's first thing is to go to Animal Services.
Okay, I gotcha.
I'm a little surprised if it was one of the truckers, you think they would have said, hey, this is where I last saw my dog.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too is these truckers aren't from Rockford.
No.
They're all from,
Ottawa,
from Michigan, from here, from there. They're from all over the place. So they might just be one of those things where they take their, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. I got 3 grandkids here. I think World War III just broke out. Anyway, now they're having fun.
You wanna stay and guess our big number of the week, Joann, for old time's sake, for the fun of it?
Oh, why not?
Let's do this. We'll give Tom a break because apparently they're having a battle of the grandkids over at the Warner Castle.
Sharing a little bit.
All right, I muted you for a second there.
Okay.
All right, real quick, our race to 10 right now, Joann. Look at me, I'm way out in front, 7-2 right now in our current race to 10.
Who are you? Oh,
And
Yes, me. But he has the answer every week. It's not
I
fair.
do.
yeah,
I
kind of
do.
like trivia.
Big number of the week is 135 billion, and the answer this week is pennies or pets. And Tom has sent me his guess already, so I'm going to change the score on my score pad here, and I'm going to double check and make sure I got that right. Do you have a guess, Joann? Pennies or pets?
I'll go with pennies.
You're going to go with pennies. Tom also went with pennies. And can you guess how much money Americans throw away in change every year?
I'm hoping it's $135 billion.
It's approximately $62 to $68 million of coins every year. It gets accidentally discarded with the trash or lost in various ways in the US of A. Over $60 million of coins lost every year. Is that how much of that is in your couch, Tom?
Wow.
Huh.
I don't know. I threw away the couch last week.
If everyone's got a couple of bucks of change in their couch, I guess with 100 million households, you're going to get that. I'm going to take your point again this week. Consumers
Come on.
have increasingly turned to fresh dog food providers like Fresh Pet and the Farmer's Dog. And according to Bloomberg Intelligence, they estimate the global pet food market is going to reach about $135 billion by the year 2030. By the way, the global pet insurance industry is about $11.5 billion of an industry right now. That's expected to triple by the year 2030 to over $33 billion in pet insurance. So there you go. All right, Joann, we really appreciate you jumping on with us today.
All right.
And thanks. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. We'll catch up with you again down the line. Okay.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Bye, Joann. We miss you.
There goes our good friend Joann. Glad to have her back on the screen with us today. And we announced earlier we've added a platform to our streaming here for the InCrowd 815 podcast. We're now on Rumble. If you are on Rumble and would prefer that as a platform, check us out. Just look for InCrowd 815. We are there. We're still on YouTube. We're still on Facebook Live, X, and LinkedIn, and even on Instagram, which today saw us had a couple of viewers on Instagram for a while today. So thanks for joining us there. Next week, we'll be making our big announcement about the next masked karaoke trivia contest. We are booked. We are locked in. And the 10 teams that participated in the first one back in October have been invited. They've got first dibs on joining us again at the next one. And I can tell you right now, Tom, this is gonna make put a big smile on your face. Already, just in the last 5 days, 5 of the 10 teams have already committed to joining us again.
Awesome. That is so cool.
April 17th will be the date. We'll give you more details next week on this very program. So be sure to tune back in. We'll also hear from Serene Al-Sharif, the owner of Tad Moore Tailoring. They have a really interesting not-for-profit that we're going to talk to her about next week on the show. So join us to learn more about Serene. And this week is InCrowd 815 Networking Group Week. Thursday night, we're going to be at Empower. And I want to encourage everyone to join us at the Empower offices in the Supply Corps building, which is right across the street from Coronado Theater. We are going to try our hand at doing some speed networking, which I don't think we've ever done before at an InCrowd event. So come on out and join us 5:30 to 7:30. Try to be there by 6 o'clock because that's about the time that we'll be trying this whole thing at Speed Networking. So
Hi, my name is Tom. I have a degree in economics, and I like walks in the park and scary movies and pizza. Next. Hi, my name is Tom. Okay, is that right? Is that about it?
I don't know if we're going to do it quite that fast. But, you know, speed is negligible there. So we'll see how it goes. We do have a plan. We've never done it before though, so it could be a horrible failure. It could be a train wreck of all train wrecks. So come and find out and see if we can make it work. Check out our InCrowd 815 webpage. We've got some great merch up there. I think we're adding something new here next week as well. If you've already checked it out once, you'll want to check it out again this week and see what gets added on there for InCrowd 815 merchandise. And then, of course, we keep you up to date on all the events and stuff on the webpage there as well. Final thoughts before we wrap up this show, Tom?
You know what? Final thoughts. Taking it down a sports thing. We won't spend much time with this, but anyway, go Washington. Go Washington.
The only people not are rooting for the Washington Commanders live in Philadelphia.
Exactly. I mean, wow. What a show they put on the other day.
They sure did.
Unbelievable. And it was, I mean, they beat Detroit, which was fine. I don't like Detroit, not because they win, not because they're tough, not because they're good, because they're a dirty team. I do not like dirty teams. I understand smash mouth football. I understand it. But when you're going for knees and you're this and you're that, when you start getting a reputation league wide, and I'm not talking to sports writers or fans, people that hate Detroit, people that just don't, whatever. When you start getting these comments from other players in the league, that they're a dirty team, they go for knees. Ask Tucker Kraft. Ask T.J. Hawkinson. Ask several players in the NFL that what the Detroit Lions have done. So I'm glad they're gone. I don't care. And I'm not a big fan of Dan Campbell anyway. I've said for so many years that Dan Campbell is, a lot of flash and no dash. I don't know. Maybe that's not a proper description. I just don't.
He lost his top guys this week.
He certainly did. Well, I don't know. Did Aaron Glenn go somewhere?
Aaron Glenn got hired by the Jets.
Wow.
Yes.
Very good.
Aaron Glenn got drafted by the Jets. He was, I believe, a defensive back for the New York Jets under Bill Parcells.
I believe so. Yeah, years and years ago.
So he played there for a few years and then, of course, got into coaching. And now he had a great couple of seasons in Detroit as the defensive coordinator. So the Jets have hired a defensive coordinator to be their new head coach. And of course, this little team in Chicago called the Bears hired the Detroit offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, to be their new head.
Wish it would have been the other way around.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. But anyway.
Ben Johnson has had a great week. He really, his press conferences and everything else, he's off to a good start in Chicago. So,
all right. So let me give you a slightly different perspective on that. Yes, he is off to a good start, but it is Chicago. And where do good coaches go to die? Chicago. Where do good quarterbacks go to die? Chicago. It's just the ongoing joke. One day it's going to hit. They're going to go back to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure they will. And it could be with this incarnation of the Bears because Caleb Williams is a bona fide stud. He just needs somebody to right the ship, keep him on track. They need to improve their offensive line. I hope they're smart enough to do that this year. But Ben Johnson may be the key. He may be the key that unlocks the talent that is in Caleb Williams. Now, remember, he was a first-year starter. It doesn't happen very often where a first-year starter has a great game. Although this Jaden Daniels comes to mind.
This kid in Washington is something else.
That's an aberration right there. That doesn't happen very often. So, is Ben Johnson the answer? We'll know in a couple of years. But there are a lot of different things to it. Now, he's not off to a good start in terms of the media. He spent a good 10 to 15 minutes in his press conference talking about he just wants to beat the Packers, and he's this, and he's that. You have never coached a game in the NFL. Don't worry about the Packers. Worry about your team. I saw this on a Packer podcast, and it made a lot of sense. That's a little arrogant to go after Matt LaFleur, to talk about Matt LaFleur had 13 wins in a row, 3 years in a row, his first 3 years.
He'd like to renew the rivalry because there isn't much of a rivalry between the Bears and Packers right now because the Packers are just beating the Bears.
When Lovie Smith was hired, I don't know, 20 years ago now, maybe more.
Yeah.
He said, Our goal is to beat the Green Bay Packers. All right, well you won 8 and lost 11. You were 8-11 against the Packers with a very good Bears team back then, a good team, a team that went to the Super Bowl in 2007. So and then they lost to Indianapolis. So your focus really can't be on one team beating one team, and if it is, keep that in the locker room. Don't talk about it in the media, because it was just kind of arrogant on Ben Johnson's part to single out Matt LaFleur, almost calling him out.
It was
you
kind of,
know.
I don't know. I got a chuckle out of it. I thought it was kind of, I'm sure Matt LaFleur got a little chuckle out of it too. Oh,
No,
okay.
no, maybe not, but it might come back to haunt them. I say worry about your own, worry about winning a game in the NFL before you go calling out other NFL coaches. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be fun to watch, and next year is gonna be something, because what's the likelihood? What's the likelihood of 3 NFC North teams making the playoffs again next year? That's
I
a
think
stretch.
I think Minnesota's going to fall off a little bit, because I believe they probably won't have Sam Darnold at the head. They're going to go with JJ McCarthy. That could be JJ McCarthy could be a huge bust, or he could be Super Bowl bound. But Sam Darnold was 14-3 for crying out loud. I mean, that's pretty doggone good. Kevin O'Connell is O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell. I always get that mixed up. He is a bona fide good quarterback, possibly coach of the year.
He took a team that wasn't expected to get to 10 wins, and they got to 14. So
that's exactly right. Now, Dan Campbell, the Detroit Lions are going to fall off. They will. They're losing their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, unless you strike gold twice in a row, which only happens for Packer quarterbacks, really. I mean, unless you can go out there and get the right guys for the job, I don't know. Are they going to be any? Green Bay is going to learn from their mistakes, and the Bears are going to be better. So you could have an even harder division next year. But that means that these teams are going to beat up on each other. Green Bay's not ever going to go 1-5 in that division again. That's just not going to happen. That was unbelievable.
I would hope not.
Unbelievable. And they're not going to lose twice to Minnesota and twice to Detroit next year. And they're not going to lose twice to the Bears. So I think they're going to go 4-2 next year. They'll have a couple of losses. And I think the Packers will be back up to 12, 13 wins. I do. I think Jordan Love got that bad year out of his system. It wasn't even that bad of a year when you look at the stats. When you look at his stats, his overall stats, they were very comparable to last year. But the eye test said that Jordan Love didn't look as good. And parts of that is true, but Matt LaFleur's play calling wasn't as good. There's people
and the injury played into that a little bit too.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. The injury did. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it made Jordan Love tentative. And what also made him tentative is the play calling. And look, we're going to call this play, but if it's not there, just get rid of it. Well, get rid of it down 30 yards down the field. That's not going to work. That's just not going to work.
Throw it out of bounds. Don't let it get intercepted. Too many.
Yeah, don't take a sack. I mean, they're not sacked very much anyway. One of the least sacked teams in the NFL. So it's going to be so interesting. I'm already chomping at the bit for next year.
Well, the big day tomorrow. The big day tomorrow. Commanders. They got to go to Philadelphia, and then of course the Bills got to go to Kansas City. I want to see Commanders Bills in the Super Bowl.
So do I. And I don't hate Kansas City, by the way. I don't.
I think we're going to see Commanders Chiefs.
Yeah, my heart says I think we're going to see Philly Chiefs. I think the Commanders, their Cinderella season ends. The football turns into a pumpkin at 10 o'clock or whatever.
All right.
I hope not. But Philly is a pretty good team. I think you're going to see Philly Kansas City rematch of 2 years ago.
Okay. One last thing before we go, just want to let everybody know that our friends at Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum has a thing coming up here on February 13th. That's the night before Valentine's. This is a Thursday night, February 13th. They're doing the Dine and Donate at Backyard Grill and Bar in Loves Park. Really appreciate what Backyard Grill does. Every month they do another Dine and Donate thing. And in February, it's going to be supporting Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum and Garden. So if you get a chance, head on out there and have a great meal and support Tinker Swiss. So, all right. Remember, friends, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same. meet you back here for another In Crowd 815 podcast. Have a great day, Tom.
You too, buddy. Go Pack, go.
815 in crowd. 815 in crowd.